Hello again, YouTube. During my last video, my update video, I mentioned briefly that I am working on a book series called Rift. And a few people, as well as a lot of my friends, have expressed interest in hearing a bit of an overview of the story and characters that are in Rift so they can get a feel for it, to see if they would like it. And I would like to know if people are interested in me making something like this. So I've decided to make a video going over what Rift is going to look like and what it's going to be about. Rift is a sci-fi coming-of-age story following the main character Amadeo and his two best friends as they navigate being outsider weirdos in every situation they find themselves in. The story starts off in a tiny Catholic cult-like town in the middle of Minnesota called Nollings. It's where Amadeo spends the first 18 years of his life. When he was a kid, his older brother Leandro went missing under mysterious circumstance in the woods, but nobody ever believed Amadeo, even though he was right there when it happened. In the summer after his senior year of high school, Dio and his friends stumbled right into the thing that took Leandro, a weak spot in the universe that occasionally opens like a portal. And after only a few moments of deliberation, all three of them chose to leave their lives behind, to step through and find out what really happened to Amadeo's brother. The story is inspired by Ransom Riggs's book series, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. The book, not the movie.
Olive can go marry Jake for all I care.
My own experiences growing up atheist in a religious family, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The themes are pulled mainly from my own life experiences, and the tone is set heavily by two of Will Wood's albums, the Normal album and In Case I Make It, as well as a smaller and lesser-known artist named Compassion Fatigue, which I highly recommend checking out on Spotify because I really like his music. I will link his and Will Wood's below. A lot of my thinking process comes from Will Wood and Compassion Fatigue because I relate to the things they make so much, and both of them have greatly inspired characterization for the characters in this book, and most of the characters have a song or like two or three that I associate with them, and I will include those as well. The protagonists of Rift are a trio friend group drawn together only because they are the biggest town outcasts, and they have very little in common aside from being universally avoided like the plague. They stick together out of necessity, because being alone is a lot more scary than simply hanging around their only option. Their sort of theme song for the group is Suburbia Overture / you know what, it's a very long song title because it's 4 songs in one. Listen to it and you'll know what I mean. There's a part that represents each of them. You'll be able to pick up on it. Amadeo Marino is an atheist stuck in a town full of faithful zealots. He is a quiet loner type. He's often mischaracterized as mean because of his flat tone and nihilistic outlook on the world. Even in his small group of weirdo friends, he feels like he is an outcast. He's always struggled with the idea that others' perception of him is inaccurate, though he isn't quite sure how to put out something authentic. He is mixed, white Italian and Native American, and though he's always been interested in his native roots, he knows next to nothing about them because his mother denounced her native faith and has given in to the cult Catholic culture of Nollings. So he feels outcast from the majority white faith group of Nollings, which he does not believe in, and native groups, of which he does not even know to which one he belongs. The songs I associate with him are Tomcat Disposables, Last Buffalo, and Happiness Is. Adeline Suwan is bold and adventurous. She chooses to dodge the problems life throws at her by indulging in whatever parties, drinks, and side quests come her way. For that reason, she is constantly moving. She's known in town for sleeping around with any girl that is even borderline woke, just for fun, but she never gets into any actual relationship with any of them. Commitment is not her strong suit, and slowing down for even a moment forces her to think about everything she's done to lead her to this point, which is way too stressful and overwhelming for her liking. Her family is full of Thai immigrants, and one of the few families that does not participate in the town's religious practices. For this reason, she cares very little about what the people of Nollings think of her. Even her own parents' opinions are borderline irrelevant in her mind. They want her to become a doctor or an astrophysicist or something big and important that will make the family money in the future, but she really does not want to do that. She just wants to be a tattoo artist. She is known as a town troublemaker even more so than her two other friends are, and she would really prefer it if Nolling's residents stopped trying to force their annoying Puritanism onto her. Her songs are The First Step, White Knuckle Jerk, and I Want You to Fear Me. Ivan Kovalchuk is a rather reserved person. He moved to America from the Siberian mountains when he was a little kid, and he taught himself English by watching British television shows. He communicates to the people of the town for his parents, who speak very little English. Out of his friend group, he's definitely the most awkward and spineless, which often leads Adeline and Amadeo to worry about his capabilities on his own. Even just the idea of confrontation is enough to make him nearly pass out on the floor. He's extremely malleable, and often his friends have to stop him from being sucked into Nolling's religious culture because he is scared and wants to believe in something. Even with his cowardice and general awkward demeanor, Ivan is very ride or die for his friends. They are the only two friends he has ever had, and as such, losing them is not an option for him. Despite being whiter than snow and dressing the part, Ivan doesn't fit into the culture of Nolling's at all. He doesn't understand what he's doing so wrong to be so outcasted, and figures that there must just be something fundamentally wrong with him, though he doesn't know what it is, and it frustrates him. His songs are Willard, Well Better Than the Alternative, and Adderall. Now, when the group steps through that strange portal, they leave Earth entirely, and this is when they find out that what they went through is called a rift, and that Earth is a place they can never return to. You see, the world governments do not want word of life outside of Earth getting out, so if they ever go back, they will be killed. Another thing they learn is that, for some mysterious reason, humans are universally hated, and they have to immediately go into a protection program so they aren't tracked down and killed by some other group. They've traded one place where nobody likes them for another one! Ripley Tidecast is their assigned guide to life outside of Earth. He's grumpy, somewhat nihilistic, and his life practically revolves around his job. He's serious about keeping Dio and his friends safe, which is very hard to do when they keep running off to search for clues about Leandro and what could have happened to him when he left Earth. Ripley assures them that they need to stay put, and he will do everything he can to find Leandro. But truthfully, it's not his most pressing matter. Ripley's life of 9-to-5 agency work is not as normal as it seems, though, because Hathor is a being known as a Keratoth, a species made up of raw elements and attributed to the birth of the universe. They're basically a god, or they would be if they weren't stripped of most of their power and banished from their home planet long ago. They're rather moody and difficult to read. The only thing sure about them is that they are very eccentric. They now travel the universe in a spaceship that is basically a dingy old hippie van, selling contraband and mystic items to any mortal foolish enough to purchase them. They often help Amadeo and his friends do things behind Ripley's back for the simple fact that they like to spite him. Because Ripley is their ex-husband, and the two are not exactly on friendly terms. How Ripley bagged a literal cosmic god being is unknown, but it gets crazier because Andromeda Tidecast is Hathor and Ripley's son, and therefore a demigod of sorts. Though, because Hathor was stripped of most of their godly ability, Andy has never been able to tap into the powers that come with his Keratoth blood, and Hathor has never been bothered to teach him. He's a demigod who doesn't know how to be a demigod, essentially. Andy is a naturally curious guy, and his favorite thing to do is travel around the universe, learning about planets and meeting new people. Which is why he got an internship at the RMA, the company that Ripley works for. Though he mainly uses his privilege as a field intern as an excuse to hop around to planets and explore rather than genuine workplace experience, a behavior that Ripley attributes to Hathor's influence and therefore loathes. Ripley gave Andy strict instructions not to make friends with Amadeo and his buddies, who are around his age, but he very quickly ignored this rule. I mean, it's not every day that he gets to meet humans his age, or even alive ones, for that matter. Amber Treehearth is Andromeda's best friend. She's loud, energetic, and loves nothing more than a good social event. Her energy is sometimes kind of hard to keep up with. It seems like she can keep going and going for hours. She's deeply sentimental and loyal to her friends, and while she may seem like she's just nice to everybody, she is really genuine. Unlike most aliens across the galaxy, Amber loves humans and has always wanted to meet one her age. She doesn't understand the generalized hatred of them as a species. This open-mindedness is unpopular, but it allows her to meet all kinds of new people across the universe when she and Andy hang out. That's why, when she hears that Andy has some new human friends, she begs him to let her meet them. There are obviously more characters than just these ones in the series, but this group is what the story actually revolves around. I'd like to leave those introductions for the other characters to the actual books when I'm releasing them. This was just sort of an overview to what the story is going to look like, and I hope it catches the interest of some of you guys, because it is my biggest passion project, and I'd really like to actually put it out there one day. I'm happy to interact with anyone who has more questions about it in the comments. I also have a Twitter that I regularly post on, and it has a straw page you can direct any other questions towards. I'm already working on the first book, and I am excited to make it real. In the meantime, if you want more somewhat outdated design-wise Rift content, I have a secondary YouTube channel that I occasionally upload Rift material onto. I also have a Toy House page that has the designs, the full designs, for all of the characters that I have solidified at the moment up. Yeah, if you want to check that out, I'll also link that. That's really all I have today. I think I've said everything I wanted to say. So, thank you for watching my little pitch, I guess, and hopefully you can one day have a real copy of Rift in your hands.